Welcome back to World of Immersion. So last summer we had the amazing privilege of visiting Japan, and during this trip we went to a few theme parks, one of which being Universal Studios Japan. We were completely blown away by this park. It was absolutely incredible, and we realized that we never actually ranked all of the rides at Universal Studios Japan. So in today's video we are going to be counting down the top 10 rides at Universal Studios Japan. This includes all the coasters and rides. And let us know down in the comments whether you agree or whether you disagree, and whether you think Universal Studios Japan is better than Universal Studios Hollywood, or if you are dying to go to either of them. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get straight into the video. Now coming in at number 10, we have Minion Mayhem. Now this is a clone of the one we have at Universal Studios Hollywood. There's not much to be said, kind of a basic motion simulator. If you've seen our other reviews of Minion Mayhem on this channel, you know that we are not the biggest fan of it, but it's still an okay ride, nothing too crazy to it. A good motion simulator, some pretty high-tech stuff, but again, definitely does not stand out. But coming in at number 9, we have the one-of-a-kind Yoshi's Adventure. Now this Omnimover was actually really fun. We were not expecting it to be as cool as it was. It's got some pretty awesome sets, and while it is a short and very, very tame ride, it definitely fits as a good filler ride that you can do sort of when you're bored. The line was not too bad, and it did move very fast because it's an Omnimover. And overall, the theming was good, the soundtrack was great, and of course, I think the best part was the view you get of Nintendo World. It's very, very cool, and the karts are also awesome. So overall, a fun ride, definitely unique. It was cool to do a ride that we had not experienced over at a different Universal park. But going back to rides that you can experience at multiple Universal parks, we have Flight of the Hippogriff coming in at number 8. Now this one is a clone of the one that we have at Universal Studios Hollywood, but it still is a fun ride. It's very, very smooth, a good, fun, tame family kiddie coaster for the young ones that visit this park. Definitely always is a fun filler ride, again, like Yoshi's Adventure, to do when you're sort of got nothing else to do. The line shouldn't get too bad. Sometimes on crowded days, this ride gets loads and loads of people trying to do it, and because of its low capacity, it can take a while, but usually there's not too bad of a wait. Now, coming in at number 7, we have Space Fantasy. This indoor spinning coaster is a ton of fun. When we rode it, it was actually under its VR edition, which was a ton of fun. The VR was actually pretty good. I usually don't enjoy VR on roller coasters, and I thought this one was really fun. The spinning aspect is great. It's a relatively thrilling ride too, especially when you can't see where you're going, and overall it's just a ton of fun. But let us know down in the comments if you've done this ride without the VR and with the VR, and which you think is better, because we did not get to do it without the VR, and so we are curious. But overall, like I said, a really fun family coaster. Spinning rides are always great, and overall just a fun coaster to add to the list. But coming in at number 6, we have Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. Now this is a clone of the one we have at Universal Studios Hollywood, and it is a really good ride. I mean, the augmented reality is a ton of fun. You can see our other reviews that we have on this ride. We think it's great. We think it's a good fit for Universal. Now, it is a bit tame, as you may have seen from our past reviews, or if you've actually ridden the ride. But with that being said, it's still got some awesome theming and some great augmented reality. I think for the first of its kind, it does a relatively good job at it. There still are a little few kinks that need to be worked out, but overall, it does it pretty well. And the same can be said for the one over in Japan. But moving on to number 5, we have another clone. This is Forbidden Journey. Now, this ride is great. It is a super good dark ride. The claw mechanism is a ton of fun. The story is really cool. It was really fun to see the ride, but with the language spoken in Japanese, because we've actually almost memorized the entire script from the one over in Hollywood, and so it was cool to see how it matched up with the Japanese translation. And yeah, overall just a really good ride. Again, you can check out our other reviews on this ride to get our full in-depth review, but this one was the same, very fun, good animatronics, good theming, super fun ride, and, you know, relatively thrilling for it being a dark ride. Now, taking the number 4 spot, we have Jurassic Park. Now, this ride is very, very similar to the one over in Orlando and the old one that used to be at Universal Studios Hollywood. Now, correct me in the comments if I am incorrect, but I believe it is the exact same layout, just mirrored over to the other side. But with that being said, it still is a super fun ride. The animatronics are great. The drop at the end is a ton of fun. Overall, just a great ride and a good addition to the park. It's a nice, cool addition, too, because we went during the summer, so we were able to cool down with this water ride. We will say that we think Jurassic World is the best rendition of this ride. The animatronics just are more up to date and some better theming overall, but this ride still is a ton of fun. And like I said, that drop is pretty intense. It is pretty steep, actually. It always makes my stomach drop every time we ride it, which is a ton of fun. And overall, a great water ride to have in the park. Now, taking the number 3 spot, we have Spider-Man. Now, this is also a clone of the one over in Orlando at Islands of Adventure. But this ride is just phenomenal. I mean, if you have seen our other reviews on this ride, we think that this is one of the best dark rides in the world. This Triotech dark ride really is a step up from actually the newer ones that have been built since this. It uses much more practical sets than screens, which is a ton of fun. It has some really cool effects that we don't want to spoil, but you can see for yourself when you ride that are really mind-blowing, and you are almost unsure how they do them. There's some really cool elements to the ride, and overall it is just a super phenomenal attraction to have at the park, and it really just adds to this great lineup that we've already got with Universal Studios Japan. Now, coming in the number 2 spot, we have an original attraction to Universal Studios Japan, and this is Hollywood Dream. Now, this B&M mega coaster, I guess is what you could call it. I mean, it is under 200 feet, but it is styled like a hyper coaster. Is so much fun. I mean, the airtime on this thing is crazy. Now, this coaster is about 130 feet tall, and you might think that that would cause for a relatively tame experience, but the airtime hills are matched in height with the total height of the ride, so you get some crazy ejector and floater airtime. It's honestly one of my favorite hyper, as I'm classifying it here, B&M coasters that I have ridden, because the airtime is just that forceful. And also, you can choose to ride the entire layout backwards by waiting a little bit of an extra wait for the backwards train. And this is so much fun. I mean, backwards airtime is such a unique experience that you rarely get on roller coasters unless there's like a swing launch or something. But going through the entire layout of this B&M hyper style coaster was really cool. Getting those floater elements, getting that turnaround, it was all super fun. And to add on to all of this, there is onboard audio. You get to choose a couple songs that you want to play as you ride, and that just adds to it. I mean, we listened to Shake It Off by Taylor Swift, and that was a ton of fun going through those airtime hills listening to Taylor Swift. But it does not take the number 1 spot, and that spot goes to Flying Dinosaur. Now, this roller coaster is just out of this world insane. I mean, you can go check out our vlog from this park and you can see our live reactions. We were blown away. This is by far one of, if not the most intense roller coasters we have ever ridden in our lives. That drop straight into the back-to-back pretzel loops is just absurd to have on a coaster. If you thought Tatsu's 1 pretzel loop was intense, try 3. That is how insane this roller coaster is. But it really is just such a phenomenally designed roller coaster. I mean, going headfirst down a B&M flyer is not something you can get on any other flying coaster in the world. It is a terrifying experience, and mixed with that has some great forces, and overall just really makes this park stand out. This is definitely the main ride that you have at this park. It's definitely the main e-ticket attraction, and it really goes to show, because this coaster is just phenomenal. It completely blew us away. But that's going to do it for our ranking of the top 10 rides at Universal Studios Japan. Let us know down in the comments whether you agree or disagree with our ranking. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss another update from World of Immersion, and we will catch you in the next one.